kvCORE can be a fantastic tool that helps you secure millions of dollars in GCI. However, if you're not careful, it can actually cost you thousands of dollars every single year without seeing a single dime in return. But the beauty is that you get to decide what kvCORE can and can't do for your business. So today I'm going to share with you the most comprehensive training on kvCORE. And in this one video, I'm going to share with you what kvCORE is and also what it isn't. I'll be sharing with you how to set up your kvCORE. I'll also share with you how to organize your database. And something that you'll find extremely valuable, especially with kvCORE, is lead generation. So make sure to stay to the end because you won't want to miss this one. All right, so first let's start off with what is kvCORE. kvCORE is a real estate platform that's designed to help your entire real estate brokerage. And it can work for you if you're a single agent, a team leader, or have your own brokerage. And the capabilities of kvCORE truly are comprehensive. You have your IDX website, you have a squeeze page generator, a landing page generator, an email autoresponder, a text autoresponder, a fully functional CRM, a marketing kit creator, and a marketplace that helps you either generate business, convert business, or scale your overall real estate business. Essentially, kvCORE can serve as your entire tech deck regardless of brokerage size. And that's actually the best summary that I could give to kvCORE. It can truly function as your entire tech deck. And trust me, I've used just about every real estate CRM out there. I've used LineDesk, Follow Up Boss, I reformatted Pipedrive to make it a real estate CRM. I've done so much in the real estate tech space. Real estate tech is so much my jam that I actually founded a company called Agently, which in reality was created for two purposes: to put real estate coaches out of business and also put real estate CRMs out of business. But we're not here to talk about Agently, we're here to talk about kvCORE, so let's continue. Now for the good and bad, or the pros and cons of kvCORE, I do lean towards kvCORE being an overall good, or else I wouldn't be making this video. Because from the pro side, kvCORE is extremely robust. It has so many features that you can use. Essentially, it's the Swiss Army knife of real estate technology. kvCORE is also pretty good at integration, both directly and indirectly. So this is why you're able to have an IDX website that works. This is also why you're able to integrate kvCORE to so many other platforms. You saw the marketplace a couple of seconds ago. kvCORE itself will not generate business for you. This is not OpCity. This is not like Zillow Premier where it'll send you business. kvCORE is a tool, and you're using that tool to generate leads. kvCORE itself will not send you leads. Now I make this distinction because it doesn't fail. Every time I make a kvCORE video, in the comments section, somebody's asking about what the quality of leads are that kvCORE sends, which is an impossible question to answer because kvCORE itself doesn't send out leads. Now for the downsides or the cons, kvCORE can be overwhelming. There are so many different tools, so many different functionalities that you can explore and really automate and really leverage, but it's gonna take you some time. So if your goal was to get kvCORE and get to work immediately, you're gonna wanna slow down a little bit because it's gonna take you several days into weeks into months to fully capture what kvCORE can do for you. Now another downside is the content that kvCORE offers to you is pretty weak. And this is mostly reflected in the email marketing drips or the text follow-up drips that kvCORE makes available to you. Their emails and texts are not written in a way that people actually speak. So if you're using those canned responses or those canned drips, it's gonna be problematic for you because you're gonna be sending out messages that really don't make that much sense. Now another downside is one that I actually can't even fault kvCORE for because they're doing so many different things that they can't do every one of those extremely well, which is why I have to bring up the email autoresponder feature. It's awesome that you get it. It's great that you don't have to go and pay for Aweber or ActiveCampaign or any other email autoresponders because you get it here at kvCORE. However, the downside to using email marketing from kvCORE is that the delivery issues are real. It is going to be a challenge to get your emails into somebody's inbox and out of the spam folder, which becomes an even larger issue when you can't even identify that that's happening. Because the email reporting on deliverability, on open rates, on click rates is non-existent on kvCORE. And of course, another downside to kvCORE is the actual cost. If you're a brand new agent, good luck trying to get kvCORE on your own. So that's why you have to go to a brokerage that either offers kvCORE or another robust platform like kvCORE so you can leverage the technology. And truth be told, kvCORE was actually one of the reasons that I joined eXp Realty. Now, it wasn't a huge reason, but it was factored in. That's a real cost that you're saving if you're gonna try to get that technology elsewhere. Which, by the way, if you are interested in joining eXp Realty so you can have access to kvCORE, then send me an email at admin@JaimeResendiz.com. I'd like to share a few benefits of the Agent First group, which is the group that I started, which vary all the way from one-on-one coaching all the way to done for you services, where we do your video editing and paid advertising. But let's continue. Let's set up our kvCORE. All right, so when you get access to your kvCORE, you're gonna log in and it's gonna automatically take you to the dashboard. But when you're getting going and setting things up, you're gonna go to the top right and you're gonna go down to My Profile. So when you click on My Profile, it's gonna take you here. So this is where we're gonna start, but I wanna go to Back to All Agents just so you see that this is realistically the starting point. Now you can get to this same screen right here. You're gonna see agents, lenders, teams, offices, websites, phone, all that fun stuff. You can get here to this settings, if you will, by going to Web and IDX and get here with the website settings. Now we're gonna ultimately get here as well, but I just wanted to show you the various ways to get to this part. So to get to the actual settings that you're gonna need access to. Now, if you're the broker or a team leader, you're gonna have more permissions on kvCORE. Or if you're a single agent that's paying for kvCORE yourself, then you're also gonna have a bit more latitude, a little bit more ability to change things. So as a single agent that's not paying for kvCORE directly, I'm not gonna have as much features available to me. So here, when you see send that welcome email, mass email, this is assuming that my broker, that I'm the broker or the team leader that has all the other agents under this particular banner. So while you're here, the most important thing to do is go to edit yourself. And you're gonna input all the information that you possibly can. So here, when you go to settings, you see, well, I'll get to that here in a little bit. First, edit your profile. Your name, obviously, add your image, put your agent ID, your contact information, all the social media links, all of this information, your about you, your signature, all of this is pretty explanatory, but it gives you quite a good bio, gives you a good little framework to work from so you can just fill in the gaps. So this is gonna take you a couple of minutes to get going. Most of you probably already have a version of this with whatever CRM you're coming from or whatever you have already, but it's most important to at least, and I mean at very, very least, to get your headshot in there, because whenever somebody goes to your website, your headshot is going to show up. And right now, even if I look at some of my EXP peers, it's taking a little bit of while to load, so we'll keep going, but even my peers have the grayed out headshot. At bare minimum, put your headshot, because that's what's gonna show up on your website. As you can see, this is what the website looks like, but we'll talk about the website here shortly. So fill out your information to the best of your ability. Now, here's what we're talking about with the settings. The settings, this is a little bit more granular, so here's what it looks like. Make contacts private, hide contacts from team. So again, this is going to just depend on who has the control. Most of the time, if you're the single agent that is not paying for kvCORE, there's not much that you could do anyway. So this is delete privacy. It's self-explanatory, but I just wanted to show you where to go to get these things updated. Now, when you're away, if you have some lead routing already established, then you're going to put on vacation. You put the date and the date that it stops. The home search app allow chat, so the app, which we'll discuss in the marketplace, you'll see what that looks like. Daily call creation, statuses to receive calls. So essentially, what this is going to do is pre-program that you need to call a certain amount of people. You see here 10 every single day. So not only are you going to get that as a task when you log into kvCORE, but you're also going to get that in your summary email from kvCORE. So we're going to hit cancel real quick, and you're going to see here the daily call task creation. So this is what we were talking about. This is what gets set up every single day. So every single day there's a task to contact 10 people. those are going to be 10 people that have this version. Either they're a new prospect, a new lead, or an active lead, which we'll talk about the individual profiles here shortly and how to manage them. But for all intents and purposes, you can go and see some other things here. But for all intents and purposes, your agent profile, the most important thing here is setting up your about, setting up your contact information, and what you want the world to see. Now, lenders are going to show up because either your peers, your team, your broker have already input some lenders. So I'm going to give this a little bit of time to upload if it doesn't take too long, but you can, this is where you can see the lenders that are already input into your system. So you can invite lenders onto your system if you so choose, but some of that is going to depend on what you have the ability to add or not add, edit or not edit. So just be mindful of that. So as you see here, there's a lot of lenders that are already pre-populated here for me, but I can tell you that I've uploaded 0 of these people. So just be mindful of that. But again, lenders can get involved in your kvCORE. It just depends. Do you have the permissions required to add them and get them involved? Worst case scenario, you just reach out to your team leader or your broker and say, hey, I would like to add Bethany into the lender's portal here on kvCORE. Now teams, if you have a team, this is where it's going to go, and it's going to show you if you're a broker and you have multiple teams, it's going to show you some of their stats, it's going to show you some of their contact information, all that fun stuff. Offices, same thing. If you have multiple offices, it's going to show that. But again, as you can see here, it's since I'm a single seat, I guess I'm not a single license, I'm using a license, but I'm not the owner of the kvCORE account with them. There's not much that I can show you in this particular regard. Now, if you're a broker, if you're a team leader, then yeah, you are going to be filling out a little bit more information than what I'm able to share with you today. And when it comes to the website, this is where you're going to spend most of the time. This is going to be applicable to 100% of you. Same way that the agents was 100% useful to you or applicable to you, same thing with the website. So you're going to go to site settings. As a reminder, this is what the site looks like. You can edit how it looks to a certain extent. You're still gonna get a fantastic website, but there are some things that you can edit, not too crazy. As an example, you're not gonna be able to put your headshot over here and do all this type of random layout, but you are gonna get some basic, changing. So here, you can change the template. So we have the hero template. If I wanted to change it to the foundation template, let's see if it'll honor it. It usually takes a bit, so I'm even hesitant to change that. Oh, there you go. So that is the foundation template, but you saw the change was already made quickly, so people can automatically get into their search if they want to, right? Which actually, I don't even mind this at all. All right, so the homepage content options. Well, I'm not gonna go through all of these, I'm gonna slowly show you and scroll through what's gonna be most important. The background image, depending on the layout or the template, you're gonna wanna change that. As you saw, I had this one going. And the ones that are ticked off, just so you kind of see what that looks like, it is rotating. So whenever somebody goes into my website, if you were to go to my website right now, it would rotate between these backgrounds. So that's why I have them ticked off. Now, if you have your own image, you can also upload that as well. A secondary logo, if you want to include that. Hide the resources page. So the resources page is, I actually forget that one. Millions map. This is the actual app. I don't know what WCAG is, to be honest. The hide office information, hide print. So there's a lot of different features that you can change. So again, I think what's best used for you is go to the things that are actually gonna matter for you. So I'm just gonna keep scrolling. Custom header. So a lot of you have a pixel. A lot of you should have a pixel. So the Facebook pixel for retargeting, this is where you're gonna put it. So oftentimes I get asked, well, I have this Facebook pixel, where do I put it and how do I know that it's working? Well, number one, you're gonna put it here in this custom header. And how do you know it's working? You're just gonna download the Chrome extension Facebook Pixel Helper. And once you install that, it'll let you know if your Facebook pixel is fully firing. All right, so let's continue going. Now, when it comes to the custom body, custom footer, anything that has to do with custom, you can put code in here. If you know how to code, God bless you. Go ahead and put something in here, but I don't. Another thing that I wanted to show is the Google code. So the Google tag, the G tag. This is if you're looking to embed your Google code, which again serves a very similar purpose to the Facebook pixel. This is where you would put it on the conversion code. Well, it's a little bit more involved than that, but this is essentially a conversion code or a G code that I have here based off of a campaign that I was running. I don't get into too many specifics. I just want to show you the back end of where these actually are at. All right, so we're going to continue going. Testimonial, so you can, this is already API'd into Zillow, so any Zillow reviews that you have, you can actually show them here. So you just toggle that switch and it'll show up on your website. You see right here, connect Zillow reviews, all that fun stuff. And the rest, I don't really tinker too much with them. So I'm just scrolling so you see all the different options that you have. So you can see that your website can look radically different than what you get out of the box. It just depends on how much you want to tinker with it. All right, so you see what you actually call them. So sell label, search label, finance, resources, so you can call them what you want. The recruit, the hiring link. So you have all of these resources that are available to you. This is why, oh, here we go. That's where it is. Again, Google Analytics. A lot of you are wondering, well, how do I know how many people or who's reaching out, who's actually going to my website? You can use your Google Analytics ID here. This was actually, truth be told, this was actually what I was looking for. I just didn't realize that it was all the way down embedded into the 10th screen on this setting. But this is why it's important to go through and at least at bare minimum, as you start learning more about marketing strategies, as you start learning more about technology, or really if you already have this experience and knowledge, then going through at least once in your settings is going to be helpful to you. So you see what you can use your kvCORE for and what you can't. So listing types, so listing saves is, let's change it back real quick on the hero. So you see sometime, depending on the templates, what you might or might not see. So that example, this right here, this listings right here, you can't see that. But if I refresh, now you see them, right? So depending on the template that you selected, some of these features, some of these displays just aren't going to show up because the template doesn't allow for that. That's something that before you get frustrated, hey, where's the townhouse safe list? Well, change a few things here and there and you're going to see them show up. All right, so we're going to go back to top. It might have been wiser if I would just hit testimonials, the template, or this shorthand, so you saw how to do that, as opposed to just scrolling one by one by one by one. All right, so this is a website. Spend some time in here, edit it how you want. It's gonna help you out. So let's go into websites real quick. Check this out. Go to websites. We were just at the site settings. So what does that mean? Well, you saw everything, that long scroll that we did. So the site settings is where we were, where I went through and I shared all of this, right? So there's some things that you liked, there's some things that you didn't like, but you're at least discovering what's going on in your website. But what I wanted to show you is the site overview. So check this out. The site overview takes you to another world. Hang in there with me. This is where it gets a little bit complex, but this is why I want to show you this. You can still edit things here, right? Which takes you back to the general. But what I want to show you is more the add-on options here. So here, punch up your kvCORE site design with your own branding and widgets. Now you can purchase some new templates. So here, semi-custom templates. You can purchase new templates, but it's going to cost you, as you see here, $700 per semi-custom website, $1,600 per semi-custom office or team website. So know that you have options to change this up beyond what you just saw. Most agents don't, because sticker shock with $1,600, which honestly, if you're talking about a custom website that has an IDX and all this other features, it's not that expensive. I know it might be hard to hear, but it's really not that expensive when you factor in everything that you get access to, but that's just my opinion. So here, you can spruce it up. So I'm gonna give you time to go and watch that on your own, but you are able to change your templates to something that you might like a little bit more, something that's a little bit more elaborate. We'll just leave it at that. That's a little bit more elaborate. So here, just know that you can add that on. Use the power of location intelligence to attract home buyers with local content, local maps, and local search. So you're gonna notice a theme here that it redirects you to Marketplace. So what does Marketplace mean? Come here and spend money. That's essentially what it means. So this is a service. This is where I go into the pros. Actually, I see this as a pro that kvCORE has integrated itself with a lot of different features, which we'll go into in the Marketplace later on in the video, but a lot of different features, a lot of either lead generation providers, a lot of conversion tools, a lot of scalability tools. So you have access to this, and you know they're going to be directly integrated because kvCORE is actually giving you the direct link here. Show your visitors property with specific distance from key landmarks. So again, you're going to notice the direct link to Marketplace. And then view all add-on. So this is essentially the Marketplace. Now that's cool. These are some add-ons. The most common question that I get is this about the website. I don't like it. How can I change it and modify it? Well, you can modify it to a certain extent, and that's where you would go, or you could change the template. So you can go to site editor and change that as well. You can change a few things here and there. As you can see, it looks almost like a Word document. So I can change a few things, not as much as you would like a WordPress website. So don't count on that, but there is some customization that can be done. What's most important for me, so you can add testimonials, you can put the area served in SEO. So just a little tip here. If you're trying to rank with your SEO, try to use areas that aren't as common. So don't use Dallas as an example, Will. Hit Plano, hit Frisco, hit Allen, hit Garland, hit, these smaller cities that are around there. And this is where you go to do that. So you would add all cities in the MLS. So now some of you are bloggers, and this is what I wanted to show you. You can host an entire blog here, right? So you can put your title, you can put your content, and then you can publish it or just save it as a draft. You can have a blog on kvCORE, which we'll get into here shortly. Well, let's talk about it right now. Yes, you can have a blog on kvCORE, but what's important to realize about your blog is one of the pros and cons of kvCORE that we talked about earlier is the fact that it's quite robust, that it does a lot of different things. However, now that's the pro. The con is that because it does a lot of different things, it doesn't mean that it's going to do a lot of those different things extremely well. So if you're going to do a blog, my recommendation to you is use kvCORE as a launching pad, as a kind of like a test for you. Hey, am I willing to commit to this blog thing? And as quickly as you can, I would encourage that you migrate into a WordPress website or a Squarespace website that is independent of kvCORE for several reasons. One, you get more functionality with those other websites, the WordPress website or your Squarespace website. You're gonna rank better, you're gonna have more flexibility, it's gonna be awesome. But also, if you're not paying for kvCORE, and heck, even if you are paying for kvCORE, I don't want you in just this singular platform forever for always, or I'm sure you can stay if you want to, but stay handcuffed to kvCORE, because there might be a time where you might want to change CRMs. Well, you're kind of stuck if you built a 500 post website already or a blog on kvCORE. So you might find yourself just paying just to keep that going, right? So I want a little bit of redundancy or a little bit of a fail safe. So that's why I recommend, if you're going to do a blog, it's okay to start on kvCORE as you build a rhythm, see, hey, this is something that I'm going to stick with, almost like testing yourself and building that muscle. But as soon as you can, I would recommend doing your blog somewhere else for all the reasons that we just talked about. So I wanted to be very transparent with that because it's just important. Right? So site content is where we're talking about the Zillow reviews. So essentially you're showing this, we already talked about the Zillow reviews, and you're going to need to put the email that's connected to Zillow for one. Service areas, we kind of already saw that up here. Service areas, so you can edit that. All right. And then we're going to go to custom pages. You can add a new custom page if you want. So you can title it Best Coffee Shops as an example, and then fill out the rest. Right, so you can add custom pages. A lot of people don't realize that, but you are able to. Now, when it comes to your blog, this is where you would manage all of your blog posts. You can add a post, which is something that you saw previously here on the website manager already. Right here, you can do that. Embeds, use this image anywhere you want people to be able to quickly view your website. So you get your own QR code. Property search. So this is when they say widget, essentially this is a code. that shows your property search and it shows you how it's going to be seen. Now, if you know how to code, if you want to update this, and then be my guest. Again, God bless you. You have a very incredible skill. You have an incredible skill that keep using. So here's what the property search is going to look like. Here's what it looks like in a small format, which pretty much looks the same. But this is where you go to edit that, the website widget. So again, this right here, dollar valuation, same thing. This is what you're seeing. So this is the code. This is what you're seeing. Now widgets. Now for widgets, this is actually where you're gonna have the most amount of fun. This is where you get the most flexibility on your page overall. Now I know we went through a bunch of settings, but in reality, if I was gonna go directly to a place where I would want to customize my website to make it look different, I would go here. So here's why. So here, when you're looking at the widgets, let's say meet the team. You want a dynamic team names and profile pics. So if you have your team already embedded here or created on your kvCORE, which you will if you're either a team leader and have the team account, or a broker and have access to your team, you could add it right here. So this is what it would look like, meet the team. Right? So you could add that right there. The default property widget, so you get to see what this would look like. We already have that, so it's already been added. So some of these are gonna look similar to you. Let's say financing, get financing. So you have a lender, that's where you would directly connect them to. Home worth valuation, so that's a seller lead strategy, just listed. So you have all those homes that are just listed. And then the blog post default widget. So this is where you would go to see, this is where you would have on your website, it would say that it's a blog basically, as you saw right there. So you could add that. So when you click on it, are you sure to add? Boom, there it is. But again, this is where you would go to get most of your editing of your website done. So if you want the bundle, are you sure you want to add this bundle? Doing so will override any custom content you've had already. The standard widget bundle. So you have the main website, which is what you saw. You have the houses, multifamily, condos, land. So basically that's what I have already. So you have the website, land, condos. That's what I have already, right? And you can continue adding the widgets as you saw. So a quick reminder to get here, you would go to either right here, you would go to my profile, which will take you here to the agents. So I'm here on the agents tab. Then I would go to websites, and then I would select site overview or go to site settings, and same thing over here. So I'm showing you multiple ways to get to the same place because I know there's going to be questions on, hey, where do I go to change my blog as an example? Well, there's various ways to get there. Now again, we're still in the settings component. I know this is a bit long, but this is hopefully you're appreciating this. And if you're liking this, let me know in the comment section, websites. That'll be a good little wake up. So if you're still awake right now, comment websites in the comments down below. Help me out a little bit with the algorithm. And then your phone. When it comes to your smartphone number, something important to note is that the smartphone number is shared by your office. You would have to buy your own personal smartphone number so that wouldn't happen. So the smartphone numbers that you get access to, those are round robin throughout the office. So unless somebody calls you that's already in your CRM, it's gonna get routed to somebody else. So as an example, if you're putting your smartphone number on a listing and somebody calls that smartphone number, well, kvCORE has no way of knowing that number is from that listing. So it's just gonna round robin it to people in your office. So just be mindful of that. If you want to use your smartphone and the smart technology that we're gonna cover later on in the video, you're gonna need to buy your own phone number. So the smartphone number right here, you get to see how to buy it, how much it costs, which is $27 per month. All right, so here you sign up, a phone number is assigned, you add your number to your marketing, and you start generating leads. So how does that work? Well, I'll show you the strategies on later on. We don't need to cover that part right now. But right now, what we've been talking about has been your settings. So as a quick reminder, we're gonna go to my profile, and then we're gonna go to the phone right here. So that's where you would go to buy a number, and this is where it would show up. So remember, the smartphone number is assigned to the entire office. I cannot stress that enough. Don't put the smartphone number on your yard signs unless you own that smartphone number, because people will start calling that number and they're not gonna be going to you. So the only reason that this phone number would go to you, or sorry, would somebody use that phone line, if somebody used that phone number and it would get routed to you, the only reason it would make it to you is because they're already in your CRM. That's the only reason. That's the only way. All right. So that's how you're setting up your kvCORE. All right. So those are the settings that you must understand. Those are the settings that you want to dig into sooner rather than later to set things up correctly. Because let's face it, if you don't do things right then when you're getting access to kvCORE, life is going to get in the way. So dig in there, get your profile picture together, get your description of what you do, essentially your bio together, get your social media handles all in one place. This task is not designed to take forever. This is something that should take you anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes tops. And once you're good with the settings, let them be. Review them every quarter or every year, but don't go in there every single day or every single week. If you're a tinkerer, you're gonna continue going back there and waste your time. If you're not a tinkerer, you are gonna forget to update your information as things change. So find that balance. Now let's take a tour and navigate kvCORE the right way. It's important that you understand where to go to make certain changes, and also very important, how to actually operate your business day to day. So let's start at the top. You can search for all of your contacts up here. A lot of people don't realize that. They automatically go to Smart CRM. So you can search for your contacts right out front. You can go directly to the marketplace. So if you go here, shop marketplace, it essentially takes you right down here. The quick actions, this is where if you have a contact that you want to add, which is mostly what you're gonna do the quick contacts for, this is where I would go to do it. This is a quick add. So without you having to go into each one of these things here, each one of these tabs to make things, to add things. So again, quick actions is gonna save you a lot of time. Once you connect your email, this is where you're going to go to do that. So you're going to go to Google settings and connect your email. It's going to ask you to do that. I myself haven't done it here. I disconnected it because of for things that I have to get done on my personal email. So I haven't done that right now. You're going to of course download your mobile app. So if you have not downloaded your mobile app, do so right now. Take the opportunity right now to go to your phone and go to kvCORE on your app store and download that immediately, because it's going to save you a lot of time. Now notifications is going to show you things that the tasks that need to be accomplished. So this is where you're going to start getting reminders. Hey, you need to call this person. Hey, you need to email this person. Hey, this needs to happen. So if you do your task system correctly, unlike me, you're going to have the tasks that need to be accomplished every single day. And it's a great way to get organized. Recent activity, it's going to show you the leads that have come through. It's going to show you reminders that have come through, and if somebody has responded, if somebody has looked at an email, and things of that nature. Show chats. So if you have some chats going on back and forth with a particular lead, this is where they're going to show up. So I'll show you how to do that very, very quickly here in a little bit. And you already saw an element of this, but this is your smartphone number. This is the email. This is your website. This is also your website. The profile is how we got to the settings tabs that we were messing around with. And then all these others are essentially part of the settings. So here, if I go to lenders, it's going to take you to that tab. So essentially all of these tabs are reflected up here. And then logging out, of course, that's pretty standard. So again, the top over here, that's essentially your quick links. All right, so your dashboard, this dashboard is going to give you different avenues or different, it's going to provide different functionality on your day-to-day. So here, how I use it most, or I guess primarily, we'll get into playbooks here in a little bit, and today's objectives, think of it like a real estate coach, if you will. So as many of you know, we have Agently, the software company that I co-founded. We actually have a true artificial intelligence real estate coach. So what they're trying to do here is give you kind of some suggestions as a coach would, or somebody that is trying to help you out. But it's more of an afterthought. It's more of a way for you to use some of their marketplaces. So on today's objectives, it's essentially, I hate to say it this way, but it's busy work. It's hey, get seller leads, but essentially what they're going to do is they're going to try to sell you these leads as opposed to show you how to get seller leads, which is different than Agently, again, my software company that will actually show you how to get seller leads for free and through paid strategies without us taking a cut. So all of these objectives, for the most part, will be leading back to their marketplace. As you click here, build back to pipeline, it shows you the features that we're going to go through here shortly. So you might find value in this, you might not find value in it, but when it comes to objectives, it's essentially use more of our features and here's 3 ways to do it. Or essentially getting an affiliate by sending you to the marketplace and they get a commission split that way. So anyway, playbooks. We'll cover playbooks in a little bit. Let's just get through the dashboard for a quick second. This is where you're gonna see a quick snapshot of the activity that your leads are making or having in your website. So primarily, you're gonna get some emails and texts and everything else in between. So you see if you wanna filter out based off of the new leads, the new texts that come in, the new emails, any hot leads, which are these, any properties, you can filter out based off of this. But when you click here to activity, what I find the most value in is these homes that they're seeing. So as an example, this individual has been active, very, very, very active on these homes. So it gives me an idea of what they're looking for. And same as this individual right here. So you see it came from my YouTube channel, which if you're interested in how I'm doing this from a YouTube perspective, check out the links down below where I show you exactly how to replicate this on YouTube. So make sure that you're checking that out. But this individual came in and was looking for homes in this city, and this was the price range that she input. And then immediately after started looking at some properties. So if I was going to bring this person back, I have their email, I have their phone number, so I can call them and text them, and I can send them a core video. But if I wanted to bring them right back or kind of prompt them, hey, what's going on? I could click text, and then I could either have my canned responses, which are essentially templates, or I could just message them something right here. So this goes back to the content that I mentioned earlier, where kvCORE doesn't really have much tact. It just has some pretty dry, non-ways of content that is not really how people would speak. So you do have to kind of make it your own. It's not a bad thing, but it's just a reality. I think you might like this listing. So I could say something to the effect of, hey, and then let's do this. You see this little squiggly line right here, this squiggly line? This opens up the dynamic field. So I would put, hey, first name. So in this case, I believe her name was Marie. I thought about your needs when I saw this listing. And then boom, this is already a hyperlink to that property. Might take a little bit of while to upload. Oh, here we go. There we go. So it's a property that they viewed. I see that they viewed it. So now I would just go send. And this is a text. So if you do nothing else, as you add people into your world, as you're adding them here and you're seeing some activity on your website, spend your morning here. Spend your morning analyzing what's going on here. How can I resurrect? Same thing with Victoria. So here I don't have her phone number, so I can't email her or call her. So I can just I can't call them or text her, but I can email, and I can also send a core video, which is essentially a brief video. Again, this is very, very helpful. This is something that I encourage you to be in every single day. So hopping into your dashboard, that's very important. So playbooks, the same thing that you see right here. We're gonna go to it right now. Playbooks, let's read what their definition is, and then I'll break it down. Simplify and automate the best practices of everyday activities. We'll combine the most high value, high impact features, kvCORE, with the best practices for top real estate agents to create a simple wizard. So it's essentially what this is telling you is this is a checklist of what our agents are doing to maximize a property. So if you have a listing, it'll give you a playbook of what to create. You could create your landing page, you can create or a squeeze page. I'm sorry, not a landing page. Let's see here, company listings. So start promoting, and then I can text this to certain individuals, I can email this to certain individuals, and I can do all that fun stuff. Now I'll show you how to organize your contacts so this makes more sense for you, but here you can promote this listing to certain people in your database already, or you could post it over on social media. You can either boost it through their property boost, which will cost some money, but you can absolutely boost it, or you can initiate some smart campaigns and all that fun stuff. So here it'll let you know kind of what's been accomplished. This goes back to the checklist that I was mentioning. So you can contact matching buyers, you can create a custom text code, which is through your smartphone number, property boost, digital promotion, all this fun stuff. And you can provide a quick link. So quick links, you can create all of these links through another, I'll show you here in a little bit where to create these squeeze page links, but this is a way for you to have everything in one place, almost like the playbook. Again, the playbook is what play you're going to run, and this just combines your entire playbook, right? So you can send out emails, you can send out texts, you can create a single property website, you can post on social media. It's a way to combine everything together, and this is promoting your listing, gathering your sphere. So open up the playbook, get contacts into kvCORE, capture and categorize sphere into groups, and set up alerts and automation. We're going to do an element of this when I share this, the how to set up your kvCORE, but kvCORE helps you along in this regard. But we'll talk about how to actually categorize this so the alerts make sense and the automation makes sense as well. So again, this is another playbook that you can go in through and then work your sphere. So it gives you strategies to work your sphere. So when you open up the playbook, it goes back. Oh, because I haven't created the playbook yet. That's right. More playbooks are in the works. So essentially, it's creating different ways to leverage kvCORE, because kvCORE does recognize that there's so much in here that without a little bit of guidance, without a little bit of creativity like you're seeing in this video, you're not going to necessarily know what levers to pull. It's almost like you have this plane, but you just don't necessarily know how to fly it. And it's no disrespect, but this, again, it's not a platform where you can expect to master it within a couple of minutes and get the hang of it. Within a couple of minutes, this does take time. So the playbooks is a summarized version, a summarized way for you to learn how to effectively use kvCORE for your business. That's essentially what it is. Now, your smart CRM, we're not going to spend too much time in here, but what you'll absolutely want to know is how to search for either a lead or the address. This is essentially your CRM. This is essentially your contacts database. This is where you would go to add additional contacts, unless you wanted to do the quick action, so you can add a contact right here. But this is really as you start generating leads, either through paid advertising or organic means, and I'll show you how to do lead generation towards a few more minutes here in the video. This is designed to be your centralized location for all of your contacts, and you would just hit filters right here. You can select based off of the contact status, which we'll get into later on in the video. Assigned users. So if you have multiple users in your account, you can go filter based off of assigned users. You're going to find most value in this if you're a broker or a team leader. Contact details. So if there's a certain, let's just say you only wanted to show buyers, you can filter based off of buyers. You can filter based off of those that do not have a phone. So you can work on getting their emails, or same thing, if they don't have an email but have a phone, you can focus on your calling campaign I'm going to call these people and get their email, right? So it's pretty neat. These are things that a lot of people don't realize, that this is a way to complete your contact database. So if you can have somebody's email, if you can have somebody's phone number, if you can have all their modalities of communication, why wouldn't you want that? And then behavior. So again, I'll let you explore these on your own, but this does a really good job of filtering out based off of different criteria that you probably didn't think to filter based out of. But this way you have the exact people show up that you want. All right. And then when it comes to mass email and mass text, you can email based off, there's a limit. I can't remember exactly how many emails you can send out here, but I could make it 250 rows here, and then I could select all of them, which it'll take a while to show up, but I could select all of them right here, and I would send out a mass email. But again, I can't remember. There is a limit. I can't remember if it's actually 250 contacts. I don't think that's right, but there's a limit to how many people you can email at once. So you might find yourself scrolling through various pages, but you can absolutely do a mass email. Once you do your filters and select all the people that you want to receive the email, then you can just select all of them right like this, like you saw, and unselect people that you don't want to receive it. And you can also do the same thing. You can send a mass email, and then you can put whatever email you want. So as a reminder, that squiggly line right here, it'll open up the dynamic field that you want to include. So the first name, if you want to include that, you're able to do that. Are you sure you want to close this window? Yes. All right, same thing with video messaging. And then if you wanted to add tasks to all of these, like as an example, if you filter everybody that you have right here, and if you did the, what was it? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. Let's just say, go to that example. Let's just say they have a phone, but you do not have an email, right? And if you apply those filters, I don't know how many it would apply for here, but 16 people. 16 people, I have their phone number, but I don't have their email. So what I would do is I would go here, and then I would select add a task, and then I would detail what task I wanted that to be. I would then have the task reminder come up and say, hey, go ahead and call these people because you said you would. So we're gonna clear that filter, but that's an example of how you would do the task. Adding hashtags, very much the same way. We'll talk about hashtags when we get into emails, but there's various things that you can do in bulk, so you don't have to open up each one of these records and update them manually, because that would be a monster task that you don't have to undergo. It's not that valuable to do all that anyway. Well, let me rephrase that. It will be valuable, but it's much more valuable to start your database clean the right way, which we'll talk about here shortly. Listings, this is going to be tied to your MLS. Benefit of kvCORE is that it attaches to your MLS. So here you have all of the listings on the MLS, regardless if they're yours or your brokerages or just the ones in the MLS. Marketing, they categorized the elements or the tools that you can use to do some marketing. So you can do voicemail drops, you could do smart campaigns. This is essentially your email autoresponder, your email marketing campaigns, schedule mass emails. So remember when I showed you that you could do a bulk email send? If you were to send through here, the smart CRM, there's a limit to how many emails you can send at once. But here, when you schedule an email, there is no limit to how many emails that you can send at once. So here's where you would go to schedule your entire email database. I believe this CRM, this particular kvCORE account has over 2,000 leads or so. So I could schedule all 2,000 to receive an email at once without having to flip through the pages. CMA Builder is a way to generate seller leads, and essentially various ways to do some marketing. So stay top of mind and nurture client contacts into clients. Everything you need to deliver beautiful, high value content to keep you top of mind, drive engagement, and turn contacts into closed business. So this is what I'm reading right here. The lead engine. And I know I'm going through this a little bit quickly, but I'm showing you what you want to know first, and then we'll drill into the actual strategies to generate business. That's what you're gonna find the most value in. Right now, I'm just showing you where everything is at. Landing pages and squeeze pages. These are, you can create landing pages where you can give anything and everything in return. Like let's just say you wanted to offer a quick sheet as an example. Then you can create a landing page and deliver that quick sheet this way, where you get their contact information and you deliver the cheat sheet. Now, if you wanted to make the property or a property or some sort of data when it comes to real estate available in exchange for their contact information, that is a squeeze page. So the difference between a landing page, it can be anything that you offer as a lead magnet. On a squeeze page, this has to do with real estate in some way, shape, or form. So that's the two differences right here. Call and text capture, which is your smart phone number, host a virtual open house. It'll walk you through how that happens. See here, bulk import. This is going to be important for you. You can do the bulk import right here or do the bulk import over here. But what's important here is when you start an import, you can have them do it or you can do it yourself. Both routes are right. I personally would always do it myself because there's certain cleanup that I would need to do and there'd be no way for them to know what cleanup needs to happen. But you can do it whatever way you want. So at this point, if you're using kvCORE for the first time and you're coming over from another CRM, you have a CSV file that you can upload in here. So here, let us handle it. You upload your file and they take care of it, or you watch their brief video and do it yourself. So that's how you do the bulk import for your leads. And the rest of these things, you're gonna see them in the marketplace, so we're not gonna spend too much time with. Now, before we head over to transactions, I want you to check out 2 quick things. Over here, when you do actually 3 quick things. So the lead Dropbox, here are your APIs. So here, you're gonna see a Zapier key, you're gonna see a Zillow key. So there's going to be some APIs to tools that you can connect directly to. So as an example, I use Zapier to connect my Facebook leads into my kvCORE. So whenever we launch a lead generation campaign over on Facebook, I use Zapier instead of API Nation. Now, this may not make sense for you right now, but just know that there are 2 ways to connect Facebook leads directly into your kvCORE. You could do API Nation or you can do Zapier. Well, technically there's more, but the 2 primary ones are API Nation connects kvCORE to multiple things like Google products, to other CRMs, to email autoresponders, to Facebook. So API Nation, which is free and already included, or you can use Zapier, which is a paid product. I know I shared more than I needed to right there, but what's important for me to show you here was the Zillow key is important. Most of you are going to be using that. And Zapier, if you're using Zapier, you're going to be using that as well, along with API tokens. So here on these tokens, this is your API connection. So if you're familiar with API and you know what that means, then this is going to make sense to you. All right, so that was something I wanted to draw your attention to, because oftentimes whenever you have a integration like Zapier, you're going to be asked about that API. So I went ahead and call that out. But also, if you're doing open houses, kvCORE does give you an open house app. So you can ask people to sign up directly into this app and they'll show up in your kvCORE. That way you don't have to continue to use paper sign-ins and then transferring all that information into your kvCORE. So that helps save you some time. And Millions Mapped app, this is actually the home search app for your contacts, for your clients. So this is something that they have access to, so they can start searching for properties as opposed to searching via Zillow or even your own MLS link. So this is a pretty good little app that you can ask your clients to sign up for. All right, so those are things that I wanted to share with you. We already covered the bulk lead import. Wanted to show you how the API Nation connects, how that's important. I'll show you how API Nation connects here shortly. And then the open house. If you're doing open houses, check that out. Millions Mapped, this is the app, so your clients can start using that to search for homes. But now let's head over to transactions, because this is where a lot of questions come through. You're gonna notice that nothing happens here. You're gonna notice that typically in a traditional CRM, you're used to seeing a transaction management tool where you're able to manage a transaction and take it from searching to under contract, during option, in pending, closing, right? So you're able to move the transaction along. That's what you're used to. With kvCORE itself does not have a transaction management system. So I'll repeat that again. kvCORE itself does not have a transaction management system. It has an integration into multiple transaction systems. So I'm going to go to Marketplace so you get an understanding of what we're talking about. And here I'm going to type in transaction, and you're going to see e-commission, you're going to see transaction desk, SkySlope, Dotloop, and DocuSign rooms. So if you have Dotloop, connected. If you have SkySlope, connected. If you have Transaction Desk, connected. This is how you're going to track your transactions. Each one of those could be a video in and of themselves. We're not going to go into it today, but just have the most important thing for you to understand is, again, kvCORE itself does not have a transaction management system. It has to be an integration. So those are the integrations that you can have. So again, go to your Marketplace, find the one that you're using, and then get some additional information about how to actually make that connection and what's needed there. So we're going to go to Web and IDX. So Web and IDX, we already navigated. Remember, this was our first screen share basically into the settings. So you had everything mapped out the way that you wanted to. So here's essentially the content, the blog, the embeds, the settings, everything that we've already talked about. Marketplace, one of the big benefits to kvCORE is that it integrates into multiple disciplines, whether you're looking to get more leads, be more productive, promote a listing, or connect any various inner office tools. So here, if you click third-party tools, you have third-party tools. Promote a listing, Property Boost. increase productivity. You see what they have going on here. So WordPress plugins, API Nation, which we'll talk about it right now. API Nation is a quick reminder. It's an integrator. It's a way to connect kvCORE to various apps, various tools, various software that might not have a direct API connection. I know I'm getting technical, but does not have a direct connection. So API Nation is that third-party tool that connects the two. The most commonly used one is Facebook leads. So whenever you launch a campaign over on Facebook and you select the lead generation campaign, you would use API Nation to make the connection between Facebook leads and kvCORE. There's no direct connection that you can make between kvCORE and Facebook lead generation. You have to use a connector such as API Nation, which again is free, or you could use what I use, which is Zapier. It's a paid product for Zapier, but the reason I'm going to spend so much time here, maybe a couple more seconds here, is because API Nation is a free tool, as I've said before, but Zapier is what I personally use. So I want to be upfront with you. If you have the capital, if you're using Facebook lead generation campaigns frequently and really are doing more than one campaign at once, go with Zapier. Pay the premium for Zapier. There's a much more reliable connection on Zapier. I'll say this again, there's a much more reliable connection on Zapier. I have extensive knowledge with both. API Nation, about 100 of our agents use API Nation. We manage their campaigns, we launch their campaigns. I know a lot about API Nation because we have to fix it a lot. So just know that there's a limitation to API Nation. It's free. There's a reason that it's free. I'm not trying to throw shade. I know a lot of the API Nation guys. I know Nick, I know Gabe, and they're all fantastic people. But at the end of the day, fantastic people can only take you so far. I need my leads to go into my kvCORE, and I need my kvCORE to send out the automated messages. And if it doesn't happen 100% of the time or 99% of the time, then I have an issue, right? So API Nation, it's free. It's something you can use. It's not as reliable as kvCORE. So you've been warned. That's really what I wanted to share about that. All right, so now get more leads. There's multiple ways to get leads, not directly from kvCORE. Remember, kvCORE is a tool that will facilitate lead generation. We'll talk about the lead generation strategy shortly. Here, these are third party either owned by Inside Real Estate, which is a parent company of kvCORE, or affiliates of Inside Real Estate. So here, if you do Google pay-per-click ads, you can select here and it'll teach you a little bit more of how you can do that, how you can connect, and how much it'll cost you. If you want to get seller leads, same thing. It'll show you what type of advertising is going to go into that, and plans start at $500 a month. Now, there's multiple things that you can do here. Nosy Neighbor, same thing. It's going to be an expense. It's a third-party tool that you get a discount on in some cases, and it's a marketing. Think of it like a marketing agency that's directly connected into your kvCORE. Now, I have to give my additional disclaimer here. I personally do not use any of these. Why is that the case? Well, I'm very effective with Google ads, very effective with YouTube ads, very effective with organic strategies, very effective with Facebook ads. Now, you may think that I'm sounding boastful, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. There's a reason that we have one of the leading digital marketing agencies in the country. There's a reason that we work with so many real estate agents, because we're effective at what we do. So these particular services, feel free to try them out. I encourage them. I have no reason not to encourage you to use them. There's a reason why they're here. I'm guessing somebody is making money off of them. Hopefully it's the agent. But with all that being said, one of the questions that comes up is, well, with these leads that kvCORE does generate, which again, kvCORE by itself does not generate the leads. What they're referencing are these services, the Property Boost, the Nosy Neighbor, the Google Display, all these other, that's what they're referencing, Making It Rain. These type of lead services, I don't have experience with. I personally don't use them. A lot of the agents that we work with, in fact, all the agents that we work with do not use them, because it's with our agents here that are partners with us at EXP and that are part of my revenue share group, but part of my group overall. We do their paid advertising for them, so they have no reason to use these. So again, if you're interested in a partnership and have us do your paid advertising for you, then there's a link down below that's going to ask you to ask for additional information about our partnership. That's my disclaimer. All right, so let's continue going. I know I'm stopping a lot, but I think it's important that I give you my insider information, because there's a reason that if you Google kvCORE, 10 of my videos show up about kvCORE because I have a really good understanding of kvCORE in the pros and the cons. All right, so we talked about marketplace business analytics. Here, if you are actively using your pipeline, which I am not actively using my pipeline, these are just this is just a tool for me to bring in contacts directly into the CRM. We actually do not use the CRM as it's laid out. We actually use Notion for all of our leads, so it's a little bit hard to show you this full thing in its full glory because we don't use this pipeline as it sits. We don't categorize them based off of new lead, active lead, or whatever. Our clients are actively being worked on our Notion CRM. Again, I'm just showing you everything. Right? So I'm not going to show you something that I don't have, which in this case, this is something that I don't have. So, so that's not going to do much good for you. However, it does give you some interesting analytics. It does give you some breakdown of where leads are coming from if you categorize them based off of the source. Here you see that these are all YouTube leads, or at least a portion of them, the ones that are going into our kvCORE from a certain YouTube channel that we have. So here, this lead came from the Arlington video. This lead came from our Mansfield video. This lead came from our Anna video, Greenville, Lancaster. So these are all YouTube leads. And these are leads that happened here over the last 30 days or so. So this portion, which is a small subset of all of our lead generation that we do, that goes directly over to Notion, this small portion is only 15 leads in the past 30 days. It's not bad based off of where we have these particular links, which again, it's a small subset of everything that we have. However, what I want to show you here with the business analytics, this gives you overview of what's happening right here. So you see here lead response rates. I can tell you that this coming soon has been here for years. So the reason I call that out is because of that limitation that I mentioned earlier of we want this transparency in email delivery for one, and the email engagement and click-through rates and all this stuff. So that's why we actually don't even send out emails all that frequently from kvCORE, regardless of who we're communicating with. We use, right now we're using Aweber, and we're getting ready to migrate over to ActiveCampaign. I know I'm giving you a lot of nuances, but it's learned experience. I wish I had it's like if I could do things over again, I would never have started using kvCORE's email autoresponders. Just showing you giving you the exact how I see it. Goes back to the pros and cons. You have so many tools, and it's impossible to do all of them 100%. It's impossible to be an expert in all of them or master them. So that's the pro, that with kvCORE you get so many different features. The downside is each one of those features does come with some roadblocks. Email marketing is one of them in my view. I'm not saying don't ever send emails. I'm just giving you, if I could start all over and at the volume that we have, I would have started immediately from ActiveCampaign. And keep in mind, I just mentioned to you, we're using Aweber. We transitioned from, I think we tried kvCORE for a while, and the deliverability just wasn't where we wanted to because we were sending thousands of emails every single day at this point. So we went to another platform. We used iContact, I believe was the next platform that we used. And then we went over to, what was the other one? There was another one in between iContact and Aweber. But right now we're on Aweber. We're getting ready to transition over to ActiveCampaign because of the same things. The deliverability and the flows in Aweber just aren't where we want them. Keep in mind, we're sending thousands of emails. If you're sending a couple hundred, if you're sending every once in a while, you'll be fine with kvCORE. I'm not completely trashing their email autoresponder. I'm just saying that for the amount of sends that we're sending right now, it's just not a very effective strategy for us to use kvCORE. And if you're appreciating this, if you can appreciate the information for what it's worth, type in kvCORE. Type in kvCORE. If you're resonating with that message, click kvCORE down below or comment kvCORE down below. So, all right, so consumer interest. So this tags a bit of where your business is coming from. So for us, again, it's Google is a big driver, YouTube is a big driver, and then you see the top properties that are being viewed. So if you're using this a lot more actively than we are, this is gonna mean a lot a lot to you, what people are actually searching for. But the way that we're using it, this isn't going to be this isn't as valuable to us right now. The capture campaigns, if we were using it in a different way, I could see it being a bit more valuable, such as we were posting on social media every single day. It'd be a lot more valuable to us. But here, this is something that I already knew. I already knew it was coming from our certain campaigns on Google, and I knew that it was coming from YouTube. Nothing to write home about for me. Agent performance, we're a single agent here, so we don't have the transaction connected here. We don't have, we're not moving statuses right now, which I'll show you how to do. So it's not much that we can write home about. Agent success, pretty much the same thing. Core present. You get to see what core present is. So here, essentially think of it like Canva, but on steroids. The next generation CMA and presentation builder. kvCORE Present helps you guide clients through an interaction and compelling pricing discussion. So you see here, create an engaging CMA under a minute, build a fully customized branded presentation in real-time activity tracking to ensure you win the deal. This is a pretty cool system, but I don't use it. It's something that most of my business right now is referral-based business right now. So I don't have too much functionality here. I encourage you to create one just to see what it looks like. It might be valuable for the business, especially if you're taking on a lot of listings, but that's where you would go to do that. And then support and training, you can go and attend some of their trainings, their courses, and everything in between. That's a little bit more of how to navigate the kvCORE system, or what each one of these tabs means, what kvCORE has, what kvCORE doesn't have. All right, so something that you're gonna wanna really pay close attention on is in your smart CRM, or better yet, in the profile of your clients. So dependent on how well you understand, how well you structure your profiles and how detailed you are with your profiles is going to be how useful kvCORE is going to be for you. So I'll navigate through here and I'll give you the pros and cons, and I'll give you some suggestions on how to set up your database from the jump, so your marketing campaigns are a lot easier down the road, and also your usability becomes something that you can use. So I'm sorry, your usability of kvCORE is something that you can easily use. All right, so this is what a lead is gonna pre-populate. At bare minimum, you need a name. so here you're gonna have your lead's name, you're gonna have the phone number, you're gonna have the email. You can of course add an address if you have an address. So here's where you could add that information. If they're a buyer and a seller, you can label them as such, or if they're just a seller, you can label that as such, or a buyer. So the distinction, the category, the type of profile is important. So make sure that you at least have that distinction. If they're a buyer, if they're a seller, if they're a renter, if they're a vendor, an agent, really the two most important things for you are going to be buyer and seller. These are the only two that we personally use, because we recognize that most likely a buyer is already a renter, right? So we very rarely double dip and call both of these. Right? So buyer and seller, at bare minimum, understand those distinctions. Now hashtags, this is really where you're gonna find the most value. That's maybe a stretch. You're gonna find a lot of value, we'll put it that way, in the hashtags. If you take nothing else away from this entire presentation, hashtag domination is going to help you succeed on kvCORE. And here's why. Hashtags allow you to do email marketing, allow you to do text marketing, allow you to do property blast, allow you to do a lot of different marketing campaigns if you're using these hashtags. So if you're doing your email yearly drips, you're gonna do that. You're gonna do these sends based off of hashtags. So at the bare minimum, and I mean at the bare minimum, get yourself 2 hashtags. One is gonna be a buyer lead and seller lead. So get you a buyer lead right here, buyer lead. You'll see mine right there. And get yourself a seller lead. Get yourself at least a buyer lead and a seller lead at bare minimum. Now, once you start getting clients, maybe closed lead or a closed transaction. So start adding some hashtags. What are hashtags? Think of hashtags as identifiers. Hashtags are identifiers to your database. So if it's a buyer lead, well, they could eventually be clients of yours, but they're still going to be a lead, right? Or they started as a lead, as an example. A seller lead is obviously somebody that had expressed interest in selling, and that's how you're going to categorize them. At least you have these two categories of leads that you can filter out your database. Now, another level that you can get into is, in addition to a buyer lead and a seller lead, what we do is we add the year that they became a lead for us. So as an example, if they became a lead for us in 2018, there we go, 2018 buyer, 2018 seller. As you can see, these hashtags are finicky. But with that being said, we categorize them based off of if they're a seller lead or if they're a buyer lead. And then we also add another layer to that. We add what year we got them. Now, why do we add that? Because we're able to track what our lead generation has been like. So it's an easy way for us to run campaigns. It's an easy way for us to do some business analytics. We don't trust all of the analytics that are presented to us by kvCORE because we just don't. So another hashtag that you're seeing right here, plain and simple, is the YouTube home search. So YouTube home search is a general category, general hashtag that we add to our landing pages that we're putting on certain YouTube channels. So hashtags that you might add, that you might see here are going to be different. So here from the source, we also, right here, the source is how we coded our landing pages, or I'm sorry, our squeeze pages, where we put this particular specific squeeze page on our YouTube, on at least one YouTube video, which happened to be our Mansfield video. So I know that this video came directly from that particular video, or this lead came from that particular video. Hopefully this is making sense. Most important thing here for you to know, hashtags. Include a buyer lead and include a seller lead at bare minimum, and then get crazy from there if you want. But I don't recommend you going crazy with it. I just recommend start categorizing these based off of hashtags. This gives you a summary of what's going on. Now, depending on when you have a conversation with them and you get to rate them, hey, this looks like a really good lead for us. So this is a 4 out of 5 lead. Let's stay on this lead. Now, we don't use this too actively, so I don't have any issue adjusting this one way or the other. But once you have conversations, you can fill out who's generally good to go and who's not. Now, when you look down here, you're able to see the history of what happened with this particular lead. So you saw that a lead came in, it automatically got the YouTube home search hashtag because of how we coded it. It's automatically signed to me. They started seeing these 3 properties as soon as they signed in. A task was created automatically for me to call. An email was sent immediately, or not immediately, but later on the following day, another email, and then that text that we sent out earlier, this is what was sent, right? So you see the text right there, and you get to view the emails that were sent. So I think you might like this listing, right? So this was an email. And now you have the task right here. So I can make the call right now. I can snooze this, I can X out of this or adjust it. But this is a task. And you see where the client is in this journey. So if they're in this action could affect or remove the assigned smart campaign. So it's a smart campaign that was automatically put it into the new lead. You can change it to become an active lead, meaning you're actively working that lead. Once you get that lead to become a client, then you put that client tag, then you would put under contract and closed. So in a way, this client journey can be seen as a transaction tool. I personally don't see it that way, but it could be viewed that way, because I would much rather have an individual card or like kind of a little folder, if you will, that I get to attach this person to rather than make this person the entire journey. But that's just me. Either way, let's continue. So actions, this is really what I like about this particular dashboard. I can immediately call, I can add a note, I can send an email, I can send a text. Oh, that's me clicking the note. I can send a video. So core video is essentially just a little short form video a short video, sorry, not short form. Core Present, we already talked about what that is, which is a presentation, and you see everything that you can do here. So if somebody says, hey, unsubscribe me from your dang emails, you can manually unsubscribe them. If you have duplicate contacts, you can merge it with another contact. If you have another team member that's going to take over the lead, you can transfer the lead over to them. Let's see, you can unsubscribe from text. You can turn off behavioral alerts. So what is behavioral alerts? Behavioral alerts are, I guess, an automated way to get emails out, texts out. So it's behavioral automation. What that means is as soon as your person, so in this case Marie, does log into your website after 2 weeks of not being on there, well, it would send a behavioral alert to them saying, hey, I noticed that you logged into my website. Do you want to transact, or do you want to do something? Are you thinking about doing something, right? I forget exactly the messaging that happens, but actually I can show you that later on. This is how you would turn off the behavioral alerts one by one if you wanted to, if you didn't want to turn all of the behavioral alerts off. You can archive the lead, delete the contact, and a lot of fun other stuff. So if you can try to find on Facebook, you can try to find on Google. This won't happen as much, but you could try the communication and find them there if you would like, or try to find them. All right, so homeownership app, you can send them the invite. Hey, if you're looking for homes, check out this app and use this app. All right, so profile details, you can edit their details right here as you find them, as you have them. Alerts, because this person opted into one of my squeeze pages, they were automatically put on alert number 1, which was they're gonna get listings in this particular zip code with this particular type. So these are the properties that they have seen or were sent already. So these are essentially the results. Now, once I have a conversation with them, I can keep this going, or I can turn off this alert so they don't get this. And I can set up a saved search. So this saved search, I can draw it out on a map, or I can put a specific city or a zip code or a county and put some additional safe search features, very similar to what you would do to an MLS. So here I could set up another search or another alert so they get these properties as they come up. Under files, you can upload their pre-approval if you would like. So if you have, if you're working with multiple clients and don't want to dig around with all the emails on whose pre-approval do I have, who's not do I have, you can put that here. Buyer rep agreements, you can put that here. Most of you will probably use .loop or SkySoap, so you're going to manage all this stuff over there, but you could also upload them here if you don't have one of those transaction management tools, which is ultimately what's required here. So the transactions, this is going to be filled up if you have that transaction tool. And then tasks, you can add a task, essentially reminders, hey, go ahead and call X person at this time, or whatever you want to do for that task. So again, it's important that you understand how to navigate really effectively in your profiles, because this is what you're going to use to label your database and operate your databases a little bit more succinctly. So let me make sure I don't miss anything over here. Property alerts, you see what we just went through right here, the alerts right there. Active campaigns, you can add them to a drip campaign if you want. So you can click here, and then you can select the campaign that you want to drop, that you want to add them to. Or if you do the smart campaigns like I do, I have it based off of hashtags. So if I add a hashtag that I know is going to trigger a certain automation, I could drop that hashtag right here and they start getting the email. So they get added to a certain drip. Market reports, core present, we already talked about. Listing valuation, so this would make more sense if you had their address. So we're not going to worry about that right now. So see, it's asking for their address. Seller report, add an MLS ID. So if they were wanting a breakdown on a certain MLS, on a certain address, you could add it right there. Actually, I think that's their listing, if I'm not mistaken. So that would have to be their listing. All right, so this is how you navigate the profile on your contacts. Now, when it comes to lead generation on kvCORE, you have to know how to navigate the system in order to get some GCI from these strategies. Because as mentioned at the beginning, if you're not generating real estate leads, converting leads, and scaling your business with kvCORE, you're wasting money. So I want you to take note on these lead generation strategies. I want you to use your IDX website. I want you to use your squeeze pages, the landing pages, smart phone numbers, single property websites, and Craigslist postings, which all of those strategies I cover in this video right here, and I'll also link it down below so you can see exactly how we're using these strategies to generate real estate leads and, more importantly, cashing commission checks. Now, if you found value in this video, do me a quick favor, comment GCI down below to let me know that you made it to this part of the video, and also it's gonna help me out with this YouTube algorithm.